just outside of Westchester, is a 3.5 square mile watershed known as Plum Run. The long-studied stream recently received $500,000 worth of improvements. Stormwater runoff, erosion, and sediment in the water were big problems.
Plum Run was in what we would call an impaired condition.
Bob Struble is the Watershed Conservation Director at the Westchester-based Brandywine Red Clay Alliance, or BRC. The Watershed Association has fought to protect and preserve the Brandywine Creek and the Red Clay Creek for the past 72 years.
The sediment is a problem because it covers up the rocks in the stream. The rocks are the places where the insects, what we call macroinvertebrates, the insects will nest. The insects are important because the fish eat the insects, and if you don't have good insects, you won't have the fish you're looking for. The nitrogen and phosphorus are fertilizer elements. People put them on their lawn, and in the stream they have the same effect. They can start to grow things like algae or other aquatic life in the stream that will take oxygen out of the stream and lower the oxygen levels. That can be harmful to fish and other aquatic life. So all those three are important to keep at a minimum as much as possible.
This work matters to Delaware because the waterways may start in Pennsylvania, but they flow into the first state and provide much of our drinking water.
If we get things right with those small streams, that will literally flow downstream to the larger ones. So it's incredibly important to work on those small streams and make sure they're in good condition.
The 5-year restoration project at Plum Run was completed in 2013. Vertical stream banks were sloped to prevent erosion. Native grasses and wildflowers were planted to stand up to storms. A cross vein, which looks like a dam, was put in to channel the water, and over 1,000 trees and shrubs were planted.
One of the things we struggle with is getting the general public to understand that we still have a way to go with improving our water, and I don't think anybody objects to that, but it may not be up near the top of the list anymore, and that's a bit of a struggle for us.
It's a fight the next generation of water stewards will have to carry on.
Determine who you want to work with.
Jerry Kaufman heads up the University of Delaware's Water Resources Center. He's teaching that next generation of hydrologists, conservation scientists, and green engineers in his watershed management class.
We look at the engineering of our water resources, we look at the laws, the economics, the society, governance structures on how water is managed in Delaware and the Mid-Atlantic and in the nation.
The U.S. Department of Labor tracks some of these green jobs, and the numbers show it's a real growth industry in terms of employment. In 2000, the job numbers in this category was a little over 1 million, with a median income of $43,000. 16 years later, employment rose 11% to 1.2 million. The median salary grew to $63,000.
We keep track of the graduates, and they get really good jobs, whether it's in the public or private sector. Some of them are actually deciding, water policy, here in Delaware and also in the EPA, for instance.
Kaufman says the class has been offered to undergrads and postgrads since 1999 and has steadily seen an increase in enrollment.
Protecting the environment to our current generation that's going to university and high school, they see it as a natural thing to do. So I'm encouraged by that. So therefore, the rise of environmentalism is peaking now.
While Kaufman teaches the next generation, Brandywine Red Clay Alliance Education Coordinator Julia Steiner is focused on the generation after that.
All right, guys, get in your groups, please.
She's grooming the future decision makers through BRC's K-12 summer camps and water programs.
We look at the physical aspects of the pond ecosystem. So students will come to the site and they'll notice what's growing here, what the absence or presence of a variety of species of trees. What's around the pond? Does it have a good buffer? Is everything mowed back? Does it have shade? These are all important characteristics to a healthy pond. Then they'll literally get more into the pond. They'll sample the water, they'll look at the pH of the water. They'll have the opportunity to look at the dissolved oxygen because they learn that what's living in the pond can't necessarily get their oxygen from the air. They need to get it from what's in the water.
Just now.
What are you going to do with it?
We're going to release them in the water. Okay, come on.
And then they end the program by dip netting and exploring, we call them water bugs or macroinvertebrates. And their absence or presence in the water really does give kids a look at holistically the health of the pond.
Fun, hands-on activities Steiner hopes will plant a seed.
So if they learn something, they learn that something does not benefit water quality or just the environment in general, we hope that they carry that with them as they grow up.
Carrying on the heritage of clean water.
We checked the water temperatures and they were really good, and it turned out that it was in perfect condition.
And protecting natural resources in Delaware, Chester County, and beyond for generations to come.
Hello. Good morning.